Recluse, and Mountaintop. No, just kidding, but not really kidding. These two pinnacle weapons are insane. We really need a nerf. We really need to nerf Recluse and Mountaintop, but they are definitely going to get nerfed in the future. So we're here to talk about different loadouts. Mountaintop and Recluse might be optimal now, but they are bound to get nerfed, and there are a ton of other really fun and good loadouts that you can complete high-level activities with, so we're here to talk about those. Starting off, the Pit of Heresy has a lot of close encounters. There are a lot of big areas in this dungeon, but most of your encounters, or at least most of my encounters, were at very close ranges due to tight corridors and stuff like that. So shotguns and submachine guns are extremely good for a lot of encounters. The only encounter where you may want some range is the encounter where you're standing on the plate, but even then you get swarmed by a lot of ads, so your close range combat potential is much more important. So Scouts not so great. Scouts aren't that good anyway, even with the buff they got in Shadowkeep. But since you need such close range potency in this dungeon, because you're killing sword bearers, you're killing a lot of thralls, stuff like that, that will come up close to you. And swords are basically mechanics throughout a lot of this dungeon. At least the final boss fight and the first encounter have sword mechanics, which means you'll have to kill the sword bearers, and they are tough mother truckers if you don't have anything good for close range. So for a kinetic or primary weapon, I would still recommend an SMG. Subjunctive is nice, of course Recluse now, but if Recluse is still good after the nerfs it's bound to get, then continue using Recluse. Subjunctive, a good rolled subjunctive is really nice in PvE. Really like that, so go try that out. That's the submachine gun you get from the Vex Invasion or Ikora. Very, very good. For a special weapon, grenade launchers are still insane. We'll have to see what the Mountaintop is like after its nerf, and I'm assuming these are going to get nerfed because they have to. Like, if they don't get nerfed, Bungie's on some sort of crack. But Malicious Birthright is a really, really good replacement for your Mountaintop. It goes in your primary slot, and if you have Ambitious Assassin on a Malicious Birthright like I do on my Malicious Birthright, if you get a kill, you can reload with 2 grenades in the mag, and this is sometimes why I even choose to use my Malicious Birthright over Mountaintop, just because this Ambitious Assassin perk makes it so good. It makes it so nice having 2 grenades in a primary grenade launcher. So much fun. So grind for that if you don't have one. Yeah, it's amazing. Please, Bungie, though, nerf Mountaintop. Shotguns are also extremely good for this dungeon if you don't want to use an SMG for close range fights. I just kind of like the SMG because you can use it on smaller ads and have a grenade launcher for larger ads. Or larger ads or boss damage. But like if you have a bubble or a well right up to the final boss, then you could definitely use a shotgun. I mean, threat level is really good. The Aikilo shotgun is still really good. Any one of those are still some banger PvE shotguns. You don't really need much DPS. There's not much DPS required until the final boss fight, because most of the scary enemies that you encounter throughout this dungeon until the final boss fight are killed with a sword, which means you don't need a weapon. Wow. You don't need a DPS weapon really until the final boss fight. But when it comes to the last fight, Wendigo, Prospector, and Anarchy are very, very good, especially Anarchy. Anarchy is pretty insane. I still don't have one, unfortunately. I've run Scourge like 20 times. I know that's not like a lot compared to sometimes. Listen, sometimes I just don't feel like raiding. And after 20 times, I was like, do I really need an Anarchy when there's like stuff like Prospector or Wendigo? And a long time ago, I decided, no, not really. So, until the final boss fight, you don't really need DPS, so something that can go in your heavy is something like an SMG, not an SMG, an LMG, like 21% Delirium or Edgewise. Both of those are great for clearing ads. Grenade launchers with spike grenades in general are good for DPS. Subclasses that are good are the normal run-of-the-mill kind of PvE ones, to be honest. Word of Dawn, Helm of Saint 14, because Word of Dawn is pretty crazy. Plus, if you don't need a Word of Dawn, you have 2 supers, so you can just pop Sentinel Shield and use it to clear ads, which is really, really good. Most of the time, you're going to want to use Word of Dawn, though. And Helm of Saint 14 is a good exotic to pair with this. No And then for if you're a warlock, you're of course going to want to use well. Well is always busted in PvE. So yeah, just well. You know what to do. Lunafaction boots, still really good. I would still recommend using them. Just increases the DPS output of your well, which is nice. You don't really need to pop supers too often in this dungeon. So you don't need the robes for warlock that get you your super back faster. And then for hunters, Orpheus tether, there's a pretty decent amount of ads that you can tether, make orbs for your teammates, and get your super back all at the same time, because Orpheus rigs have been broken since vanilla Destiny 2. I know they got nerfed, but the amount of ads at some of the encounters in this dungeon, you'll definitely be able to get your tether back. No exotic weapon shines here as much as some of the pinnacle weapons like Mountaintop and Recluse do, but something like Lumina could be really cool for this, just because you could collect your little remnants and reload and help your team heal. Since this is technically an endgame activity, your healing might be useful and really cool in some situations if you can pull off a heal. Because I think, honestly, what they had in mind for Lumina is an activity like this, like one that's not really a raid, but it's still challenging. There's combat challenge to it, so your enemies are pretty challenging, so you're going to want to be collecting your remnants to reload, and of course they'd be doing a lot of damage, so you're going to want to heal your teammates a decent amount. I think this might be one of the perfect activities to try Lumina. I think that'd be really cool. Go try it out. But anyways, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed or found this useful, and I hope Mountaintop and Recluse get nerfed. As always, please subscribe if you like Destiny, Big Titties, or any other games I might be streaming. It's been Digrex. Peace.